everyone, it's Nova. I'm doing the 5 tarot trumps magician video. This tag was created by Masha. All the participants show in each video their 5 favorite trump cards. Masha has done the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess so far. Few people have done the Fool and the Magician, and I am way behind. I've done only the Fool. I think I can do this tag once a month and not every 2 weeks. That is the pace that most participants of this tag have, but I am sure that I cannot create these videos once every 2 weeks. So mine is going to be like once a month. Nevertheless, this is a great tag. It is fun. At the same time, it is highly educational. I will put the link to Masha's videos in the description box, and I will put the link to a few of the videos of my other friends in my description as well, so that you can check them out. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna start with the first magician that I have chosen from, can you guess? This is the magician from Super Lunaris. It shows the manifestation aspect of witchery in such a beautiful and real way. I do love the look of the branches in this card, the branches of the trees. For some reason, it really touches something inside me. I really like the aesthetics of this card, and also the way it is presented. Like, you see a cup here, the fire, and it looks like that the air and the earth are presented in the realist form in this card, because she's sitting on the ground and she's breathing the pure fresh air of the forest. It's just so real and beautiful, and it just makes perfect sense to me. I just really like this card. So this was my number 1 magician, my first pick. They are not in any particular order. And by the way, stay to the end of this video, because I have a honorable mention at the end. I will show you guys my imaginary favorite magician card, which is quite interesting. Okay, the second magician is from Serpent and the Peacock Tarot, the art edition, and I have chosen for you guys this magician. This deck has 3 magicians, and this particular one is the Zoroaster. Also, they call him Zarathustra. This is the Persian prophet who lived between 1500 and 1200 BC. And it is just so clever that the creators of this deck have chosen him as the magician. In the guidebook, it says here, Zoroaster riding the back of a fire-breathing salamander with 3 roses in his hand representing body, soul, and spirit. But I strongly believe that the 3 roses here represent the base belief of Zoroastrianism, the threefold path of Asha, revolving around good thoughts, good words, and good deed. This is the base of this religion, and although it sounds simple, but when you think about it, it is profound. And I chose this card not only because it is beautiful. I really like this painting. The date of this painting is 1738. I chose this card because of its importance. Zoroastrianism, although one of the most interesting and amazing religions of all time, has remained very unknown to the world. Even though the biggest philosopher of our time, Friedrich Nietzsche, wrote one of his most renowned books about this prophet. The book's name is Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And I thought to grab this opportunity to bring this interesting ideology to your attention in case you would like to get familiarized with it. And I just think it is so clever that the creators of this deck have chosen this painting as the magician. Next card that I have for you guys, card number 3, magician number 3. This one is from Ostara Tarot. Giselle over at Madwitch also had this card in her video, and I will put a link to her video and other interesting VRs that I have seen in the description box. I really liked Giselle's thoughts on this card. What I love about this card is the high fantasy, the imagination of the illustrator that was so wild. creating this image as the magician is just fantastic. And I love it. I love the colors. I love the look of it. The deck in general, in its totality, but also this card and many of the cards really make my heart and brain happy. I really love this card. And as you see, if you can see, there is a boat going through this labyrinth into her mouth, and there are eyes everywhere. She has no eyeballs, but she has her eyeballs on her hands and there are eyes all over the card. It's really cool. Two snails. So this is the third magician. And next is this one, the magician from Tarot Illuminati. This magician, this card shows the alchemist in the traditional form. One of the reasons I really like this card is the outstanding writings of Kim Huggins and Eric C. Dunn, which I'm going to read for you guys. The other thing is his outfit and his setting, because as you might know, the first alchemists who seriously tried to turn lead to gold and have written several books about this subject were the Persian masters, also Arab masters in the Islamic era of science, such as Ostanas, Razi, Ibn Sina, and many more. And this card clearly depicts those masters because of his outfit. And those alchemists, all of them, were philosophers and Gnostics. And the concept of turning lead to gold was also a Gnosticism concept. At the same time that they were busy with it in the physical world, they related it to the metaphysical realm as well. It is a very interesting, the whole alchemy concept, which is in Arabic or Persian, it's called kimia. And the word alchemy is driven from that word kimia. Although it was talked about in many different schools, such as Romans and Greek, and even other parts of the world have been also busy with this concept of turning lead to gold. But these people, the Persians and the Arabs, were the ones that were very much considering the Gnostic meaning of this concept as well. So therefore, I really appreciate this card. It actually reminds me of those masters, like this guy is Ibn Sina, this guy is Razi. These guys both found and created so many substances out of this practice, because of this practice of trying to turn lead to gold. And it is just fabulous. I really appreciate decks that are so clever, that have so much knowledge, that can show you different aspects of tarot archetypes. And I want to read this part for you guys. If you don't want to listen to me, you can fast forward it, but I like to read it. So here, about the alchemist, it says, the instigation of transformation. What is established above is also established below. The material and spiritual planes have a direct correlation, and they are reflections of each other. You and I stand like great trees between these two planes, pillars through which the correlations and reflections might run. We are channels of divine energy, transforming and changing state. It is within us that the transformation of lead into gold occurs. Thus, we are the will and direction of change. We are both the instigators and the effects of it. But you must learn the art and science of creating change. You must apply your mind and know the resources that you have at your disposal and the direction you wish to move them in. You must also understand what it is to have intention. Come and apprentice to me, seeker of gold, and I shall teach you the movements of the stars in the heavens and the order of the natural world. I shall show you how everything has a system and all systems are one, and I shall give to you the secrets of alchemy. The universe and every particle that creates you is not a static object, but rather a never-ending series of processes and transmutations. And you and I shall merely take our places amongst those ever-changing stars as heirs to the great mystery. So these are the write-ups of Kim Huggins and Eric C. Dunn. This deck is amazing. It is a mass market deck by Los Carabeo. But the choices for the cards are really cool and the write-ups are immaculate. Okay, the last one, the fifth one, is the Magician from the Bohemian Tarot. This one. The guidebook of this deck is also incredible. It describes in length why they have depicted what you see in the card and each symbol and what it represents. Also, with the messages and everything, the guidebook is amazing. But the reason I chose this card is not what is written in the guidebook for this card. I chose this card because the Magician is a fox here. And to me, it is showing the trickster aspect of the Magician. And I do have a lot of respect for this quality. I think being a trickster takes a lot of discipline, knowledge, intelligence, mastery, courage, and many other noble qualities. It doesn't mean that I think tricking people is a good thing. I'm saying a lot of noble qualities go into creating a trickster. And I believe that is why a trickster has such a high place in tarot. In many tarot decks, you have the trickster as the magician, as card number 1. Masha, in her video, asked us which aspect of the magician do we consider usually? And my answer to her is all of them. I consider all of the magician aspects. As you saw, I see the alchemist if I have the magician depicted in this form. I can see it as a pure manifester or as a witch. I can see it as a trickster, as a prophet, or a fantastical creature. I can see magician in all forms depending on the card that I'm getting. I'm done with the 5 cards, but as I told you, I have one more card that is not in the card form. It is just my own imagination of a perfect magician. In this deck, in Tarot Apocalypses, you have the Mevlevi Sufi as the Fool. But I see the Mevlevi Sufis when doing the Sama ceremony as the magician, because that is exactly what they're doing. This swirling movement, if you go and read about it, it is actually really interesting if you go and read about it, what happens when they perform this ceremony. They literally become a vessel. That's why they can go on for hours and hours. But apart from that, just the concept of as above, so below is a very important concept and belief in Sufism. Sufism says that we are all a vessel for manifestation, and whatever exists in the physical realm also exists in the metaphysical realm and mirrors it. And this concept is very interesting and mind-provoking. For example, Sufism says that all the music is already written on the face of the sky or the heavens. If I had a tarot deck, if I was going to create a tarot deck, because I haven't yet, maybe in the future, but most probably I would put the Mevlevi Sufi in Sama as the magician. So this one was my own magician that I wanted to share with you. And I will put a lot of videos from my friends and also my previous video, which was the Fool, in the description box for you guys. And I hope to see you in my next video.